All right, here we go. My name's Jeff K, and you're listening to episode 288 of the world-famous West Virginia Surferboard Podcast.
Hello, world.
And we're back, broadcasting once again from deep underneath a nondescript home in suburban Pennsylvania. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. All that jazz. Hope you're doing well. It's Monday as I record this. Labor Day. I'm off. And so is Tony. So is the younger boy, although he doesn't have a job, so he's off most days. He's going to school. Yeah. The older boy's at work, but the three of us are here. And it's overcast and rainy, and the sky is gray. I mean, it is as gray as I've ever seen a gray get gray. You know what I'm saying? It's rainy and misty and dark. However, it's not cool. I mean, you'd be foolish enough to believe when you look out the window, man, that looks like fall out there. That looks like autumn, full on autumn. And then you walk outside and you're like, oh, God, this sucks, you know. It's hot. It's humid and muggy and not to mention sultry. It sucks. So anyway, it's another day off. This is a 3-day weekend for me. Coming out of a 5-day weekend. That's what I wanted to talk about first. My 5-day weekend, which originally it was supposed to be a trip to Cincinnati to take in 2 Reds games and to do some Cincinnati stuff. Maybe visiting a couple of those breweries they have there, including Rheingeist and all that, and do some, visit some Cincinnati restaurants. Maybe just do some stuff like that, right? And that was the original plan, and then it got canceled, which is par for the course with us. We make these plans in advance. We think that'd be a good idea. We make the plans, and then it gets right down to it, and we're like, no, we're not going to do that. Which kind of bugs me. There's a lot of canceling of plans. I don't like that. But I had the 5 days off, and we decided not to do this trip. But I kept the days off. Even though we weren't going anywhere. Tony kept some of the days. She gave some of them back because she doesn't have as much vacation time as I do. I said, we have to do something. I said, I am not going to sit in that house for 5 days in a row doing nothing. And I'm not doing yard work or any of that bullshit either. Because that stuff sucks. So my work life is a ball crusher. I want 5 days of rest and relaxation. I don't want to sit in this house in that frickin' leather chair up there for days on end, staring at whatever, either my tablet or watch some baseball game / tennis match. I don't mind all that. I like watching baseball, obviously, and I don't mind watching tennis. But I don't want to do it for hours and hours and hours, So Tony said, well, we'll do a couple of day trips. That was the plan. And we had it planned out. And as usual, it gets time to do it. Yeah, well, is this what you really want to do? Like one of the things, we were going to go over to that buffet and have lunch, which is, to me, that's like going to Disneyland. This massive, this is a high-end buffet. This is not some stupid ass, this isn't like Old Country Buffet or some garbage like that. This is like high-end stuff. This is quality stuff. And it's huge, and it's massive, and I love it, And then not too far away is the Trogs Brewing. I thought that would be a good day trip, right? That's my... Tony can pick a day, I can pick a day. That was my day. And she said, I don't want to do that. It got right down to the end of, right at the end, like the day before. I don't really want to do that. I'm like, okay, well, what do you want to do then? Why don't we go down to down to what's that place down in Philly? This big giant mall, King of Prussia. I don't want to go to a mall on my freaking vacation. I don't have any money to spend. I don't want to go there. I mean, what the? I don't want to do that. A mall? Ugh, sounds horrible. She goes, all right. Well, how about So we came up with other plans, and I'll tell you. I'll give you an update on it. In fact, this whole episode is going to be updates. All right, you ready for that? So this is an update. The first day, day one, is of the 2-day extravaganza. Day one, we went to Allentown and went to Costco. There you go. You guys ready? I know I don't want to spring that on you too quickly. I don't want to knock you out of your chair. No, we went down to Allentown. She sweetened the pot. She tried to dress it up a little bit. She was like, we could go to Costco, but we could also go to that beer store. This is what she calls it, that beer store, which is this massive place called Shangy's. The place is crazy. I said, hell yeah, let's go to Shangy's. And then we can go to that hot dog place you wanted to go to. There's this legendary hot dog stand down there called Yakko's. I guess they have multiple locations, but they've been in that area for, I don't know, 100 years or something. I love that kind of stuff. I love an old-fashioned, especially if it's hot dogs. I like old diners and old luncheonettes and stuff like that. But I have a soft spot in my beleaguered heart, for a hot dog, ironically, which will probably knock a soft spot in my heart. the fats or whatever's in those hot dogs will probably create a soft spot in my heart, like physically. But anyway, I said, all right, we'll go down there and go to Yakko's, and we'll go to Costco, and then we'll go to Shangy's. We'll go to Shangy's. So that's what we did. We went down there. The hot dogs, okay, when we were driving, I said, that place isn't a cash house, is it? Is it? Meaning they don't take credit cards. Because there was this place in Atlanta called La Fonda Latina. It was near our apartment. It was a Cuban restaurant in Little Five Points, and it was fantastic. I mean, really good. Everything was cooked on a wood fire. Oh man, I loved that place. We went there a million times. But they had a sign over the behind the cash register that said, "This is a cash house." Meaning they don't take any kind of bank cards, any kind of credit cards. So that I use that phrase a lot, and she does too, because of that sign that we reference a lot. So I said, that place isn't a cash house, is it? She goes, I don't think they have those anymore. I think pretty much everybody takes credit cards. I'm like, all right. I mean, I don't know. Some of these old places, they don't. They're stuck in their ways. Like a racist uncle. Like, what? They're stuck in their ways like a racist uncle. Anyway, what are we talking about? Oh, so we went down there, and we followed the GPS, and it took us, back and forth, across, all this stuff, through these streets, many turns, and we finally end up at the Yakko's, and we get out of our car, we walk up to the door, it says, we do not accept bank cards or credit cards, cash only. I said, there you go. I think I mentioned this. She goes, that's all right. I think I have some cash. So she looks in her purse, and she has $13. $13, right? I said, why don't we go let's go to an ATM. I can grab a 20 or something, and we can just get whatever we want. She goes, this will be fine. So we have to go in there, and we have to half step. You can't just run wide open. You can't do the whole Yakko's experience. I mean, I ended up getting 2 hot dogs, and she got 1 hot dog, which she would have generally probably got 2. I don't know. She says no, but that's what, I don't know. So I feel like she was cutting corners. And then we shared an order of fries. Bullshit. It's bullshit. And shared a soda. Cost $11. I said, this is not the fullest. Oh. I mean, I can't blame Tony for that. I mean, I could have stopped at Sheetz and grabbed some money before we left town. Right when I said, this isn't a cash house, is it? I could have said, well, I don't know about that, and just gone to Sheetz and got some cash, right? But she said, no, I don't think they have those anymore. It's like, all right, good. I don't have to worry about it. And then we get there. Hey, so the hot dogs, they're all right. They weren't all that great. I mean, they were fine. I like a good hot dog, especially at a historic place. It was good. It's not like it was bad or anything. It's just it didn't blow me away. It was fine. The what do they call them? French fries. The crinkle cut fries. They were fantastic. They were better than hot dogs. So anyway, that was good. So we went to Costco. We walked around in there, bought a bunch of stuff for the house, like coffee and just, staples for the house, things that we always buy. And, looked around. I looked at their electronics. I'm always looking at their laptops. I got it in my head I want a laptop again because my laptop, when you turn it on, you may as well just go. I mean, you could go take a shower. You could go, I don't know, drive over and pick up a pizza and eat it. And then by the time you get done, it might be booted up, It's not even that old. Don't start me down that road. I have conspiracy theories about that. But anyway, my laptop is not. It's so slow now, and it's stripped down to its bare minimum. There's not a whole bunch of stuff on there. That's what Tony always accuses me of, like, you probably got the thing bogged down with so much crap. No. There's no crap. There's no bogging. All right? There's not a drop of bogging on that thing. So anyway, I always look at the laptops. I look at all that stuff, all the electronics. I even look at the stuff like security cameras and stuff. I mean, I'm no interest in buying those. I mean, not really. But I always look at them because they're cool. I love gadgetry. And we walk around through the store, and we, there's always stuff in there. Unlike Sam's Club, there's always stuff in there. Like, I've never seen this before in my life. I didn't even know this stuff existed. I wouldn't know who thought of this. I mean, it's cool. It's fun. I mean, whoever the buyers are at Costco, they do a hell of a job because it's always interesting, right? And then we walk through the food part and we buy whatever we, I'll look at all the like that area in the food section. If I had a Costco near me, they have these like meals already made up. You can just buy them, and the things are fantastic. Anyway, I'm a big fan of Costco, right? So we went through there, and then we went to Shangy's, the gigantic beer store, and we bought almost $100 worth of beer in there. We bought 3 12-packs of, one of them was a new Sierra Nevada. Bought a 12-pack of that, which we had not tried before. I think it's called something like Hoppiness or something. I don't remember. It has the word Hoppiness in the title or in the name. And then we bought some, there's this brewery in Iowa called Toppling Goliaths. Bought an IPA, a 12-pack of their IPA called Pseudo Sue, which I'd never seen before. We'd had Toppling Goliaths before, but not that particular beer. And I looked it up on Beer Advocate because I wasn't familiar with it. I use that as a rule of thumb. Beer Advocate website, they rate beers, and they rated this Pseudo Sue 99 out of 100. And they placed it in the world class category. I said, hell yeah, we got to have that one too. So I bought that. We bought that. And then the last one was something. The other 12-pack was something called Sloop Brewing or something. I think it's from New York. And it was, it's like a multi-pack. It had 4 different beers in it, 3 each, And then we bought a 4-pack, 4 16-ounce. I can't remember what that was. Oh, it was 3 Floyds. Some kind of 3 Floyds. Also highly rated. So we put that in the fridge downstairs, and that shit's, that'll be there for a while. Hit that here and there. Excellent. High-end. Fantastic. That place is huge. They have every beer that I've ever heard of and a whole bunch of beers I've never heard of in there, including imports. But most of it's just American craft beers. Like the front room, and the front room is giant, is full of American craft beers. Oh, man. it is like it's like Disneyland to me, you know. You go in there, I'm like, oh my God, you know. And then some of the stuff I never heard of before, so I look it up on Beer Advocate, and you know, I mean, they give you a rule of thumb. I mean, I don't always agree with them. Sometimes they rate things too high, sometimes they rate things too low, in my opinion. But they'll give you a general idea. This is not, you know, hey, you can keep walking past this one. You know, they're generally right on the money. They're either, you know, they can tell you if something's really good or something's mediocre, you know. And then within the very good or the outstanding category, then you can rate it higher or lower than they do. But anyway, so, you know, we did that. And then we went back. There's another room. There's multiple rooms in this place. I mean, this place is massive. And there's this room in the back, and it's huge too. It's not small, where they have all like the mainstream stuff, like the Miller Lights and the Coors Lights and the, you know, all that stuff. You know, the Pabst Blue Ribbon and all that stuff. There was something I'm looking for, and it was instigated by a conversation I was having with one of my friends the other day. He said, "Do they still make Schlitz?" I was like, "That's a good question. I don't think I've ever seen it, like, lately. I don't think I've seen it lately. Schlitz." So I looked it up. It said that it is being made by Pabst. Pabst bought them at some point. And I was reading the whole history of it. Schlitz, into the 70s, you know, and prior, was one of the top beers in the United States. You know, and that's the way it was when I was a kid, you know. When I was a kid, or when I was young, Schlitz was one of the big beers in the United States. Lots and lots of people drank it. And then it went downhill. It fell out of favor. And I was reading about it. It said that in the 70s, they started cutting corners and trying to cut costs. And they were swapping out ingredients that was cheaper. And they were tightening up the processing time, trying to do it faster than they had before, because the way they were doing it before was, you know, relatively expensive. So they were trying to cut costs on this stuff, and it affected the flavor of the beer, and people abandoned it. Plus, they had some kind of weird advertising in the 70s. I don't remember that. I sort of remember it. I remember them calling it grab the gusto or something. They used the word gusto, you know, Schlitz, you know, grab the gusto or whatever the hell it is. And but anyway, and that thing turned people off too. And so anyway, they shot themselves in the foot. You know, unforced errors. They went down the tubes, right? But at some point, fairly recently in the 2000s, Pabst bought them and started brewing it again using the original 1960s and before recipe. I said, I'd like to taste that. You know, I'd like to taste. I don't remember. I probably never tasted it. I've probably never tasted the real. I don't even know. I'm sure I've had Schlitz back when I was young, but I don't remember it. And I guarantee I never tasted that 1960s version. You know, so I was like, I'm gonna see if they have that. But if there's any place in this country, or at least in this area, that would have Schlitz, it would be that place, because they have everything. So I went back in the room where they have all the hams and all that stuff, all the mainstream stuff, Miller High Life, you know, Miller Genuine Draft, you know, Budweiser, all that stuff. All that stuff's in there. And there's a guy working there. He goes, "Do you need anything?" I said, do you guys ever sell Schlitz anymore?" He goes, "Huh, come to think of it, I don't think I've ever seen it here." It's like, man. He goes, I don't think we've ever had that ever since I've been here. It's like, damn it. So I don't know. I don't even know if it's still being made. Have you seen Schlitz lately? Anyway, so I don't know if I'd have bought a case of it, but I'd like to see if they had it. You know, if they had a 12-pack, I might buy that. But anyway, they didn't have it. They don't have it. The guy says he's never seen it, which is crazy. So that's what we did on day one. Day two, up until that morning, we were going to go to that buffet. And she said, all right, let's just go to the buffet, and then we'll go, you know, And I said, let's not go to the buffet if you don't want to go. I don't want to go and sit there and enjoy myself, try to enjoy myself, while I know in the back of my mind that you don't want to be there, that you don't want to drive that far. That was her objection to it. It wasn't the actual buffet. It was too far to drive. It was like 2 hours, over 2 hours each way. That is excessive. I understand that. What else we going to do? Sit in a leather chair, look at our tablets. Ugh. So anyway, so I said, let's just do something else. She goes, all right, well, let's go to that hometown. There's this place here there's this place near us, in this area that I've heard people ever since I lived here said, have you been to hometown? Why don't you go down? Why don't you just go down to hometown? Like, what in the shit is hometown? What is that? So I asked. It's like basically it's a gigantic farmers market / flea market. I'm like, I don't know about that. It's not really in my wheelhouse. I don't really like flea markets. I don't know. I like them better than Tony does. Tony hates them, but I don't. You go into those things and it's basically just junk. People's junk, from their basement, and they're trying to sell it, That doesn't really, I mean, there is a little bit of a treasure hunt element to it where you might find something interesting and mixed in somewhere. So I have that a little bit, I have that in me, I might find piece of gold here in this cesspool, maybe a chunk of gold here in the cesspool. But so anyway, so I said, all right, that's fine, because I've been curious about it because I've heard so many people talk about how great it is. Like, I don't know, how could a farmer's market be, quote, great? So we went down there, and it was massive. It's pretty damn big, huge buildings, like several huge buildings, just here and there. I mean, there's like no order to this thing. And a lot of the stuff's outside, some of it's inside, and it's like, I'd say 60%, maybe 70% flea market, 30% farmer's market. And they had the stuff that you would expect. There's a lot of socks at these flea markets and these swap meets. I don't know what the story is with that. Do people think they're going to, like, make a business? Maybe they do. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. But everywhere you go, every time I've ever gone to any one of these things, there's always multiple sock vendors, just tons and tons of socks. A lot of flags, too, like tons of flags. I don't know, socks and flags. So there's a lot of that. And then there's just the people with just crap from their basement, like I said. The standard stuff. But mixed in was farmers market stuff and, baked goods or like food stands where you can get like hot dogs, pizza, pierogies. I mean, this is the upper pierogi belt, so, that kind of stuff. And there were Amish, a lot of Amish. I mean, there was more than a smattering of Amish. And they were all selling their stuff. They were selling baked goods. They were selling, I don't know, basically baked goods. That's what they were selling. And ice cream. We found this place that had ice cream, run by Amish. And it was like, they had like 6 different flavors. I just went with the standard chocolate. I got a cup of chocolate, and Tony got something else. I don't remember. I just keep it simple. It's like homemade. It's like made that day probably, And that was, I don't want to get hyperbolic on you guys. God knows I don't want to get hyperbolic. But that was perhaps the best ice cream I've ever had in my life. So good. So incredibly good, And it cost like $3 or something. Oh my God, so fantastic! And we bought like some donuts at this vendor. One of their. I think we bought like a bag of what do you call them? Cookies, chocolate chip cookies, and some other stuff. And there's all kinds of like vendors. And there's a place where you can go. There's multiple places where you can buy like Amish furniture. We were looking at it. Nice stuff, but good Lord, that stuff's expensive. like this chair that you put on your porch or something. That thing's like $975 or something, Like, whew, I don't think so, But there's a ton of Amish there. They were making pretzels. They were serving up. There was like a meat counter, all kinds of stuff, And it was interesting. We spent several hours there and had some good food. We filled a cooler up with produce. I bought some new sunglasses. And we just walked around and took it all in, just strolled through there. I don't know. I mean, I'll go back. I'd be willing to go back. I do have some observations about the Amish, though. I don't know if there's different. I have no idea. I don't know much about it. All I know is what I believe, and it feels like there's a lot of stuff going on there that kind of. Made me question what I believe. Maybe I'm not right. I mean, I know you might find this hard to believe, but I could be incorrect. Most of these shops or these little stands were being run by, like there was an adult standing in the back, kind of supervising, and then they have like young people running, like ringing people up and taking people's money and stuff. They were like generally teenagers, so young people, and they were. I was watching them, and they were dressed in the Amish, the way you would expect Amish to be dressed. However, there were some telltale signs, or there were some things that that made me go, interesting. You know what I mean? Like I saw this girl wearing like Converse high tops, an Amish girl. I saw somebody wearing like Nike sports socks. Like socks with the Nike swoosh on the side of it. I saw a guy with he had his hair was all like he had like highlights in his hair. Like some, hipster, like some pretty boy at any high school. Go to any high school. His hair was like all like the frosted tips or whatever. I don't even know. And he had an earring. This is an Amish. He's an Amish. And the girls had like makeup. I saw a girl with braces. I don't know. I saw people with cell phones. Amish people. That's what I'm talking about. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're actually not Amish. Maybe they're something else. But they're Amish adjacent. I don't know anything about it. I know very little, so I could be completely wrong. Some of the stuff, they all seem nice. Everybody was nice. Had no problem with anybody. It's just you think that they don't do any technology. I mean, that's the cliche, right? That's the way I believe. That's what I've been told. They don't use any kind of technology. They're in there like looking at Facebook or something with highlights in their hair and an earring, wearing Converse high tops. It's like really weird. So anyway, but that ice cream, holy crap, was that good? And those cookies were good. Well, I had one of them. We bring them back here and they're just gone. They just disappear. I had one of those donuts that we bought there. I ate that on the way home. I ate that while I was driving. And then I ate one of the cookies, and then everything else disappeared. I think there was a pie. I don't know what happened. I had nothing. I had none of that. It was all gone, But I'd go back there. I definitely would, I mean, it's not super exciting, but, it's interesting, It was a beautiful day. The sun was shining. The humidity was low. It was a good day, so we did that. That was what we did, our 2 days. That's a follow-up on that. Follow-up on Sunny, Chinese carry-out. I had a scare there recently where I ordered sweet and sour chicken. It was terrible. And I was like, what is going on? This place is like going downhill. And they added a 99-cent, what do they call it? Like a convenience fee is what they called it. 99 cents to order online. What kind of bullshit is that? It's not like they're delivered it to our house. You order it online, then you go pick it up, and they charge a 99 cents, quote, convenience fee. What am I going to I should just go, anyway. So that irritates me, and they're not super nice anymore. I wouldn't say they're rude, but they're cold, you know? It's like, what is going on? This isn't... And then I got that sweet and sour chicken is what I ordered, and it was terrible. I mean, it wasn't good. You know, and I was like, oh my God, this place is going downhill. It's one of my favorite places. And I'm always defending it against the boys. The boys are like a little snooty. And I'm always like, are you serious? This place is good. And they're like, no, it isn't. I mean, it's fine, but it's not good. It's like, oh, well, I'm sorry, Mr. Lord Fauntleroy. You know, if this is not up to your high standards. You know, so anyway, I'm always defending it. I'm always on the defensive about it, you know. And now it's going downhill, or so I believed. I think I might have ordered the wrong, or either I ordered sweet and sour pork by mistake, or they gave me sweet and sour. I think it was pork, because it was like little squares, like the chicken, the pieces of chicken and sweet and sour chicken are all different sizes, right? These were all the same size, and they were square, and they were small, and they were like dark, you know, and gristly. It was gross. I was like, this thing sucks. What is happening? You know? So I decided I was going to get back up on the horse, and I'm not even sure. It might have been horse, as a matter of fact. Now I think about it. I think it was like, I get knocked off. I'm just going to climb back up on the horse, and I'm going to order it again. I ordered it yesterday, ordered sweet and sour chicken, and I have a follow-up for you. It was fantastic. So I think I ordered the wrong thing, or they messed up my order. Although the woman at the window, the pickup window, I paid the 99 cents, which irritates me. I don't like that. If you have to recoup some kind of, cost increase, that's fine. But put it in the price of the food. I don't want another line item. Once you add that line item, it irritates me. That pisses me off. So I paid that reluctantly. And then I went over there, and she wasn't very friendly. I mean, what is going on? They were always super friendly. I don't know. I don't know if it's the same people. I don't know. I mean, I can't tell. I mean, I don't pay a close enough attention. It's just like young teenager types in there, and a main guy. The main guy's still there. I see him lurking in the background. I don't really pay. I mean, they're interchangeable teenagers. And she wasn't very friendly. And there's a lot. You have to sign the piece of paper. You have to, and there's a line on there for a tip. I just put a line through it. I just drew a line right through where the tip is and handed it back to her. Signed it. Like next time they were probably going to put a little extra added surprise in there for me because of that shit. But I'm not tipping her after I did the 99-cent thing, and she didn't do anything except give me a bunch of attitude at the window. I mean, I used to have a rule before COVID that I don't tip at the counter and I don't tip at the window. If I'm having to pick it up, if I'm doing all the work of picking it up, I'm not tipping you, all right? If you bring it to my table, if you bring it to my house, it's a different story. But COVID I felt kind of sorry for these businesses, and I'm trying to help them. So I always tip them, but yesterday I just drew a line through it. Took the thing home really good, so I don't know. Maybe they're all right. Maybe, I feel a little bit of relief, I was on the verge of writing off Sonny, and that made me sad in my soul, but I feel like it's okay. And the final follow-up is these cats, these outdoor cats the people across the street have. They wander around, they're just murderous, They have a swagger, they have this attitude of, yeah, what are you going to do about it? Yeah, you got something to say, That's their attitude, and they just have a swagger, and they just kill things. I mean, they just leave a path of like destruction, death and destruction. It's like the Summer of Sam out there. I mean, they're just killing birds, and I don't know, who knows? They're just killing stuff. They're killing machines. They're out there lying in wait, and every once in a while you can see their head drop. They're staring at something, and then their head drops, and then it's on. Then it's just a bloody mess. They're just murderers, It's like mass murderers. So one of these cats lives they live across the street from us, but they don't hang out there. They hang out. One of them hangs out at a neighbor's house. One of them hangs out on our porch. like lays up in the rocking chairs on our porch and sleeps up there, and it won't let you pet it. You can't. I mean, you approach it and it'll just dart off. And so it won't let you pet it, but it was getting less and less skittish. It wasn't totally afraid of us anymore. I guess it had a little bit of trust in us because we never messed with it or anything, but it would never let us pet it or anything. Then Tony started giving the thing salmon. Those people went on vacation. She started feeding it salmon, and then the older boy started putting water out for it. So now it's like, all right, I guess you guys can pet me. It's sold out. It's everything it was about. It sold out everything that it believes in for a handful of salmon. Thing has no integrity. It's a murderer, and it has no integrity whatsoever. So now you can just go over to it, and I mean, you can't be stampeding over there. You have to ease over there, and it'll let you pet it. So that's a big thing. It's been years. It's been several years that I've never been able to pet that cat, and it hangs out on our porch all the time. That guy, the neighbor over there, he goes, "Y'all don't mind if he hangs out on your porch, do you?" I said, "No, not at all. We love cats and animals and stuff. Well, not all animals, but you know what I'm saying. Cats and dogs." He goes, "All right, that's the way they are. They always pick a porch." And the other one, I can't remember their names. But anyway, the other one lives over here, hangs out over here, and then he hangs out on your porch. I said, "No, that's cool, no problem." So anyway, now we sold its soul for a handful of salmon in a Tupperware container full of tap water. Cheap. It sold its soul for cheap. So anyway, so that's an update on that. That's pretty cool. And finally, the final update. This is a message that I received from our old friend Ian in Scotland. It's from a while back. Somehow I missed it. It got past me. That's my fault. It's a follow-up also on something we talked about. And here it is.
Hey, Jeff. It's Ian in Scotland. So I've just listened to your episode where my previous recording was played about Dennis the Menace. Did a bit of research on the internet, and we're both right. There are two Dennis the Menaces. According to Wikipedia or somewhere that I read on the internet, they were apparently born on the same day, created on the same day, which seems pretty bizarre if that's a fact. And they both have got like catapults. One's got a dog, Scottish one's got a dog, an Abyssinian wired-haired tripe hound, I believe. An American one doesn't. But yeah, born on the same day. That sounds like industrial espionage, comic industrial espionage, but it could just be a bizarre coincidence. I know these things happen. Your man MacLeod, the lost cowboy in Manhattan, Dennis Weaver played MacLeod, and he was also in Gunsmoke, which I'm not familiar with at all. We never got Gunsmoke in Scotland, but he was in it. Check it out. Old MacLeod was in your programme Gunsmoke, which you mentioned in that episode. Okay, that's a short one, Jeff. Keep up the work. Bye!
Yeah, I don't know. You mentioned, Ian, about Dennis the Menace. Dennis the Menace, saying that it was a Scottish comic. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? I mean, originally when you said that, I was like, what? You mean Mr. Wilson and Margaret and all, Tommy, all that? They weren't Scottish. I mean, what? But then I did some research, did a little bit of research, and obviously you know what you're talking about. But what in the heck? How in the heck is there a Scottish Dennis the Menace that's not exactly the same, and it's edgier than the American version, and they made their debuts on the exact same day, two different artists, apparently not related to each other. What the? Well, I need to dig into this more. How is that even possible? How could there be two Dennis the Menace, and both of them appeared in different countries on the same day, created by different artists, and they're both about little kids, boys who are mischievous, but they're not. I don't know. The whole thing makes my brain hurt. I need to do more research on that. That blows my mind. I think I was mentioning the comic books and stuff that I used to read. And Dennis, I mentioned Dennis the Menace. I used to buy Dennis the Menace books, Archie. I used to get comic books like I don't know, what do you call it? Like GI Combat and Sergeant Rock. Those old World War II comics. And I mentioned Dennis the Menace, and you came and said, "What? You reading a Scottish comic?" Like, no, man. I'm talking about, Dennis the Menace. So anyway, that blows my mind. Another cartoon, I always thought Dennis the Menace was kind of funny. It wasn't edgy, not like apparently the Scottish version, but it was wittier than a lot of them, because a lot of them are lame. You look at comics, especially in the newspapers back in the old days, a lot of them were just stupid, extremely lame. There were a few that stick out in my mind that were funnier than most. And Dennis the Menace was one of them. Another one was, all right, you ready for this? Funky Winkerbean. They have one of those in Scotland. Funky Winkerbean. Another one was Herman. Remember that? That was a single panel. That was one of those single panel comics. That thing was funny. That thing was legitimately funny. I don't know what happened to it. Is it gone? I don't know if they're still making that. Herman. That was great, And, there was a few that were funnier than most, but most of them were lame, including Peanuts. I know everybody has a soft spot in their heart for Peanuts, but, I don't know. I don't know about that. It was all right, I guess. But Dennis was funny, and so was the Funky Winkerbean, and so was Herman, especially Herman. That was one of my favorites. So anyway, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. Call anytime you want. You're always welcome here. And the rest of you, that goes for you too. Give me a call, 570-290-8151. Give me a call around the clock, 24 hours a day. Make a comment, suggestion, question, whatever. Call me up. We need more people to call in. It seems like it's kind of late. It goes in ebbs. It ebbs and flows, and we're in an ebb. This is definitely an ebb. So give me a call. Let's correct that problem. Also, if you want 2 of these a week instead of a measly one, you want 2 episodes a week instead of just one. It's easy to fix. You can fix that problem by going over to Patreon. That's Patreon, patreon.com/Jeff K. Sign up for a $4 or more monthly donation, and you'll get an extra episode every week. Helps me a great deal. It's only $4 for you. So you get an extra episode every week. I'm a little off track, but every week where there's a main network episode, there's a corresponding Patreon episode, so you get an extra episode just for signing up. It's patreon.com/JeffK. So if you're interested in that, check it out. And also the surfreportpod.com website is up and running. It's been up and running for a long time. It has some expanded show notes, links, photographs, extra stuff. It's a value-added service. So check that out too. surfreportpod.com. So, and that'll do it. There's more stuff. I like the $5 scratch-off project. The less said about that, the better. We'll just move along. That thing sucks. That's a sucker's bet. I mean, I always knew it intellectually, but I always thought, well, if I buy 52 $10 scratch-off tickets, one of them's got to be worth $1,000, right? Got to be. No. Or if I bought 104 $5 scratch-off tickets, across a year. I mean, one of them's got to be worth $500 or $1,000 or $10,000, right? No. No, a sucker. If you buy those things, you're a sucker. And I buy one every week. I buy 2 every Saturday, 2 $5 scratch-offs. And every time I scratch them off, and it's like nothing, just nothing but heartache. That's all I get out of it, heartache. And I feel like an idiot while buying them. I walk up, give me 2 $5. And they're like, oh, God, I feel stupid. I feel like an idiot, But anyway, you can check that out if you want to over at the WVSR.com/scratchoff5. I'll put a column in there where I compare where we stand with the, week 31 or whatever we're in, each week where we stand. And then I put a new column in there versus where I stood with the same week on the $10 scratch-off project. So you can compare, and you can see that they're very close. And I am starting to develop a conspiracy theory, you know what I'm saying? Because if you go down the thing, it's very close. The winnings versus the losings, very close. All right? Need I say more? All right. We're at the end of this thing. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys for everything. The next one will be over on Patreon. And until then, you guys have yourselves a fine, fine day. I'll see you. Bye. I mean, it is as gray as I've ever seen a gray get gray.